I said it Wednesday. I'll say it again on Friday. We have never been more back. It is bold predictions. I am so damn excited. That's the 40-year vet, Tim May. That's Andy Backstrom. We're back, fellas. Tomorrow, Ohio State, Indiana, in Memorial Stadium. It is going to be an absolute show. Tim, not going to waste any time. You're on the clock now, man. It's bold predictions time. You got a bold prediction for me? All right,
60 minutes.
Thanks, Scott Pelly. Let's hear it.
Two Ohio State running backs will crack 100 yards rushing.
Wow.
2 Ohio State running backs will crack 100 yards rushing.
He just took
One
Andy's.
of them, I think, is that right? Did I take yours?
I heard that sigh. I thought he might have.
Trevion Henderson will be one, and I'll tell you a guy who's not getting really talked about enough, in my opinion, in this preseason. I think he's been a little banged up in practice too, whatever. But Mayan Williams, you just get the idea he's champing at the bit to get going. So those would be my 2 guys that I think are going to crack 100 yards. And who knows, one guy may go a lot more than that.
Hey, look, cornerbacks didn't have any interceptions last year. We talked about it. They know about it. I think that drought ends this weekend. I think they get 2 interceptions. I don't know who it's going to be, but one of those 3 of Denzel Burke, Davison Igbinosun, and Jordan Hancock. I think 2 of them, I guess 2 of the 3 get an interception this weekend.
That's stepping on my season bowl prediction of 6, at least 6 for the year.
Well, hey, look.
But I like where you're going there,
I don't
brother.
think Indiana has a quarterback. Reportedly, both have been bad in fall camp, and they're really waiting for Dexter Williams II to come back from his ACL injury. And I think until then, it's between Taven Jackson and Brendan Sorsby, and neither of them are particularly impressed so far. So hey, pick City.
There's 2 ways of looking at this. There's the Ohio State way of looking at it, where you just recruit the 5 stars, and then when you have 2 quarterbacks, you actually have 2 quarterbacks. There's the Indiana way of looking at it, where if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks. Ohio State has 2 quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks will combine for 400 yards passing. That might not be super bold, but I also think that even when they're up by a lot, little peek ahead to the score predictions, even when they're up by a lot, Ryan Day's going to let both of these guys run the offense. And so it's not going to be Devin, go in there in the second half and run the clock out for us. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ryan Day actually wants to see both of these guys in game action early, often, and throughout the entire game.
You mean like the way they swap drivers at Le Mans or the 24 Hours of Daytona? They're just going to keep the pedal to the metal?
Yeah, except this is Ryan Day racing and not Meyer Shank racing.
He's won Daytona 24 hours the last 2 years.
Yeah, well, Ryan Day has won a lot of games doing what he does with quarterbacks, and I think he knows what he's doing. So I'm going to go Ohio State having 400 passing yards between Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, and I didn't even mention the 300 yards Tristan Gebbia might. No, I'm just kidding. That's a complete. But I won't be surprised if we see Tristan Gebbia on Saturday. Tim,
you've got 2 guys who haven't played much. I think they're going to take most of the snaps.
Yeah.
Go ahead now.
Tim, you are now tasked with giving us your offensive player of the game.
My offensive player of the game, it's easy to go with the quarterback, which is whatever.
It's actually hard to go with a quarterback because they're going to split reps.
Well, yeah, but you can pick which one you think is going to play better. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with Trevion Henderson. Trevion Henderson wants to make a statement on Saturday. Like you said, who cares about last year? It's all about this year. We've seen some running backs from Ohio State make statements over there, like J.K. Dobbins back in 2017, like Zeke Elliott, who had touchdown runs that one year of 55, 65, and 75 yards. You can't make that up. And they still had to struggle to win that game.
Yeah.
But bottom line is I think Trevion Henderson is going to show everybody he's back. And it behooves them to run the ball to get their young quarterback, Kyle McCord, settled down. They're going to line up and run the ball, I think, a lot more than some people think.
All right, obviously not going to have the same pick as Tim, but I do want on record that I think Trevion's going to have 3 touchdowns on Saturday. So I just want that on record
So
first.
that's a bonus bold prediction?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say Trevion. I'm going to say Josh Simmons. I think he's going to be tasked with Andre Carter on the outside there at the edge. That's their top edge rusher for Indiana, the transfer from Western Michigan. And I think Josh Simmons is not going to allow a sack. And I think it's going to be a good start to his left tackle career and his career at Ohio State.
I'm laughing only because when they played Indiana last year, I picked DeJuan Jones to be the offensive player of the week for the same reason you did. He didn't play. Josh Fryer started and played the whole game. So be wary of picking an offensive lineman.
I'm not going to pick an offensive lineman. I'm going to go Julian Fleming. I think Indiana with Matt Guerrieri will try everything in its power to take away Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think they will. That's not what this is about. I'm not about that. I'm not the kind of guy that thinks that the Hoosiers. What is a Hoosier? He's going to defend Marvin Harrison Jr., but they're going to try. And if you try, that just means it opens up spots for Julian Fleming. I've seen the Julian Fleming connection with Kyle McCord before. I imagine it's just the same with Devin Brown.
What about the other guy, though?
Oh, I think Emeka's going to be great too. But if you ask me, I got to do an offensive player of the game. It can only be one.
Yeah.
And if defenses are going to continue to try doing what I think they will against those two, Julian is going to have a lot of opportunities to make some plays. I think that starts in a big way, and I think it puts stress on the remaining 11 defenses when you see what number 4 can do if you try to take away the other two, and that's only good news for Ohio State moving forward if Julian Fleming has a great game against Indiana. Defensive player of the game, Tim.
Defensive player of the game. I really like this guy. I've liked him since I bumped into him on the sidewalk on, I think it was signing day back in February, or whatever that day's called now. Davison Igbinosun. I think Davison Igbinosun, he may get one of those picks that you're talking about. I just like the way this guy plays. I like the way he carries himself. I like his confidence, but he's an interesting guy in all kinds of ways. The transfer from Ole Miss, cornerback. They're going to play 3 cornerbacks a lot in this game. It's going to look sort of like that Revolutionary War hat, tri-corner. But I like Davison Igbinosun to be the defensive player of the game.
What? Go ahead, Andy.
It's really a shame because Indiana actually has some great skill talent at running back and wide receiver. Jalen Lucas is maybe one of the most dynamic players in the Big Ten. Ohio State should not kick to him this game. And then at wide receiver, Cam Camper played 7 games last year and had over 700 yards receiving. So there's a lot of talent there. But it doesn't matter if you can't get the ball to them. They don't have a quarterback or, more importantly, offensive line. There's a lot of concerns there up front for Indiana. They brought in Bob Bostad to be the new offensive line coach. And I don't know if it's going to work out for Indiana. I think that Jack Sawyer is going to be the one that has 2 sacks to start the season, not JT Tuimoloau. And I think he's my defensive player of the game.
I mean, you guys make this too easy for me. I just get to take Sonny Styles and go with it. I mean, it's his first game as
we're nice guys.
As the unicorn.
Andy and I are 2 nice guys.
It's his first game as the unicorn. He's been anointed as a unicorn, and now he's got to go out and prove why people call him that. I'm not going to predict any stats here. I just think he's going to impact the game in some major way, whether that's an early turnover, whether that's the way that you have to adjust after seeing a 6'3", 6'4" safety out there. Just however it works, I think Sonny Styles is going to get the job done. He's my defensive player of the game.
I heard every word you said. I was just watching Marvin Harrison Jr. get in more catches.
The man doesn't stop.
It's crazy.
He just doesn't stop. Tim.
None of us picked him. I'm going to throw him in as a bonus like Andy did. Had a bonus guy a while ago. I'm going to throw in Marvin Harrison Jr. is possibly going off at Indiana, no matter who they stick on him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work for the Hoosiers. Score prediction.
Score prediction.
Your first one of the year.
Yeah.
Spread is 29.5, Tim.
I like the spread. The spread's 29.5, and the over-under, I think, is 59.
59.5.
59.5. So
Vegas thinks 49.10.
All you got to do is do the math there. Take 29 from 59. You got 30, right?
Yeah.
And then you take 30 and split it. So what you got there is 59. Excuse me. What have I got?
49
there? 49 to.
I don't know. I'm not a
44 to 15.
Okay. You think 44 to 15?
No, I think it's going to be 45 to 14.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see this defense throw a shutout, but I'm going to pick 45-14 just because Vegas is right a lot.
I'm going 55-10, Ohio State. Ohio State's averaged 50.8 points per game under Ryan Day against Indiana. I think they certainly.
That is an absurd stat.
Yeah, it is an absurd number, but I think they certainly hit the 50 mark. I don't expect them, even with the 2 quarterbacks playing, I don't think that's going to affect it, quite honestly. I think both will be good on Saturday, and I think they'll run the ball down Indiana's throat, 55-10, Ohio State.
I'm going to go 48-3. I'll give the Hoosiers a field goal, but this game, I don't think this is going to be a very fun time over in Bloomington, except for us, because we get to watch football. That's going to be awesome. But the last time I was over in Bloomington, not a great time for the Hoosiers. 2 times ago over in Bloomington was even worse because Damon Arnett had that pick 6 with the whole convoy, and he's going like this. And the Buckeyes basically had a party on the sideline in the second half. A little more tame 2 years ago. I think it'll be a little more tame on the sidelines this year, as it's a little bit more of a a business thing as they go over and try to figure out who the starter is going to be moving forward at quarterback. But yeah, I don't see this as being a good time for the Hoosiers. So I'm going to go 48-3.
You know what's going to hurt the Ryan Day Express from a standpoint of putting buku points on the board is this new rule where the clock doesn't stop on first downs until the last 2 minutes, 2 minutes of each half. I saw it affect even that Notre Dame Navy game the other day from the standpoint of you just don't get off as many plays. And now of course Ohio State has the ability to hit a big play on any play, but
and you can go tempo.
Yeah, well you can go tempo, but the point is there's still going to be it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the real over-the-top offenses this year.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think the deciding factor for me in giving Ohio State more points, even with the new clock rule, is the fact that these two quarterbacks have to play. And you're not going to be able to just hand the ball off very often in the second half to run the clock out. You have to let them play. And I don't think Indiana's twos are going to be any better than Indiana's ones. And Ohio State's two almost just beat Ohio State's one for the starting quarterback job and still could. So, I think Ohio State's going to have a pretty good time scoring the football on top of the run game, on top of, whatever Marvin Harrison Jr. throws up on the stat sheet because he's
Look at Ohio State right now. I mean, the only thing where this kind of goes down is if they do get to the second team offensive line, how good is that group? You know what I mean? But when you get to the second realm of the wide receivers, when you get to the second realm at quarterback, when you get to the second realm, third realm, fourth realm at running back.
Tight end.
And tight end same way. It's quality. I mean, it's big time quality. And how do you stop that and how do you throttle that? Like you just said, they've got two quarterbacks that need work, that need reps. And you're right. I mean, that's going to drive the score as much as anything.
Folks, I think he's officially a member of the beat because last year in the 4 games that he predicted, I think Andy was the most tame in his score predictions. To start the year off this year,
he came from Boston College.
He's going with double.
Boston College.
They don't score many points.
He didn't know what an actual touchdown really was.
This year we start the year. He's got Ryan Day dropping a double nickel on Tom Allen and coming back to Columbus with a nice win. That's what we call progress, folks. I think Andy's catching on to how good these Buckeyes might be this year, but we will not find out until Saturday at 3:30. If you're not going to the game, that's on CBS. Listen to Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. That should be fun. Ohio State.
It was so weird talking to Gary Danielson.
Yeah.
In Indianapolis. I mean, this guy has been. He used to do Big Ten games a long time ago. He'd come out here to practice, and we'd shoot the bull a little bit and stuff. And forever he's been in the Southeastern Conference, but now you've got 3 major networks showing Big Ten games, which we talked about on my show the other day.
Yeah.
Us 3 did, and we 3, whatever it is, we 3 Kings. But it's so interesting now. You might have to do a little dial turning if you're not paying attention to find your game, but it's going to be on network TV. The best game of the week for sure is going to be on network TV every week. So in my opinion, that's a bonus. I know people are talking about the Peacock and all that stuff, but you got to pay the bills, right? But that's a real bonus for this conference, man. It's going to be interesting.
Buckeyes won't be on Peacock this week. They will be on.
Not this week. Well, they're on Peacock and NBC.
They'll be on CBS this week at 3:30.
Excuse me. That's a Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Yeah, just a little bit, Tim.
Same state.
Just a little bit, Tim. Andy Backstrom, he's making the trip to Bloomington. Tim May, 40-year vet, he's making the trip to Bloomington. I am as well. I think I'll actually be driving one of the cars over there. So wish me luck as I pilot my way to Bloomington, Indiana for the 3rd time to cover Ohio State versus Indiana. Lettermen Row, $50 right now for an entire year. That's half the price that it normally is. It's $1 for 1 month. If you do subscribe, you will not regret it. I promise. Personal.
Less than $1 a week.
Personal promise. If you subscribe, you won't be sad about it. The 40-year vet Tim May, he hangs out there. So does Andy Backstrom. I do as well. See you in Bloomington on Saturday for Ohio State, Indiana. The season is finally here. We have never been more back, folks. Let's get into it. It's fall. It's college football Saturday. I am so excited.